Hi, my name is Tanisha Story, and I'll be talking about the two group sessions that I had experienced um, with this assignment. I experienced two different sessions. One of them was called Grief Share Ministry, and the other one was called Women Depression. They both was Zoom meetings. The Grief Share group was focused more on people who are grieving due to losing a loved one. The women depression ones is basically about women and the different types of depressions that we have. Um, Excuse me if I'm looking down a lot. I took notes during my session. Um, so for an example from the grief group, there were people giving they showed us a video, and it was a video of different people giving their testimonies on the type of how they went through grief and how they got over it, or if they got over it. Um, in the women depression meeting, it basically was talking about the different type of situations women go through to put them in depression, and it was talking about some people also giving their own testimonies on the depression they're currently going through or they have went through. In the grief group, we have around 9 participants, and in the women depression group, we had around 12 participants. Um, the grief had all females, but it was only one male, and it was the counselor of the group. But for the women depression, it was all women. The ethnicity was like a mixture of black and white. I'm not sure if it was any other, but from what I seen, what I assume, it was mostly black and white. Um, the facilitators, the grief session had 3 facilitators, and the depression group had 2. Um, the introduction in both sessions was similar. Basically, the facilitators and they introduced themselves, and they was talking about what they do, and it was kind of like it was more of a kind of like a icebreaker. They was letting us get comfortable with them and being able to share our feelings and stuff. So they're just telling us more about them, with their life and what they've been through. Basically, open up to everyone. Um, the icebreaker actually for the depression session, they had an icebreaker where they was asking people to share what they're grateful for. And I believe that icebreaker was a good icebreaker for that type of topic, because depression is not easy, and it can be hard to open up to people when you're going through depression. So I believe that icebreaker in that group were well needed, because once we did it, people started open up and talking about what made them depressed, and they was talking about how they plan to get through it, and it was a good thing. Um, the atmosphere in both was very positive. It was very positive. We got feedback. The counselor that was showing their empathy, they gave empathy for every situation that people would discuss. It was very warm feeling that they gave, and I think that was pretty good, and it was authentic. Everything was authentic. Um, the rules was announced in the beginning. They talked about how everything is confidential. They talked about how about the HIPAA law. They made sure everybody know that what we say it stays there. It goes nowhere else. Um, they they was it was a good session. I'm sorry. The session was very good. I was very well needed. I chose those two groups because there is something I feel like I could relate to other people. I can talk about because I feel like I personally experienced dealing with both situations in both group, and I think there was a well needed group for me to be able to experience. And I think that will be all. I think this assignment was a need. Yeah. Thank you.